And from my perspective, like I can't think.
All right. Look, so Steve Smith, Brandon Marshall, or Hines Ward. I'm going with Steve Smith first. I'm going with Brandon Marshall, then I'm going Hines Ward last.
I'm not going Brandon Marshall second.
No, I mean,
I'm not going with Brandon Marshall second.
Oh my God!
You're totally disrespecting Hines Ward right now.
Bro, he's putting out better stats than Hines Ward. Way better.
Hines Ward showed up in playoff games and the Super Bowl.
He's on the Steelers, bro.
Come on, man. He showed up. I'm just saying.
Like you said, he was on the Patriots, but like, he had a rookie Ben Roethlisberger one year. You know what I'm saying? When he went to the
Rookie Big Ben's never been terrible except for the last 2 years.
He's never been what?
I mean, Ben's never been bad. Only the last 2 years.
He wasn't bad, but he wasn't Big Ben yet. He was new. It was like
nice. His rookie year, Big Ben was nasty, bro.
Only one he compared to me, who never got out. I don't know if it playoffs or not. Is Andre Johnson, but Andre Johnson was way better than Brandon.
Oh, Andre Johnson's way better than him.
Yeah, he never made the playoffs either.
I don't know if he made the playoffs or not. I don't think he did.
Yo, if he's never made the playoffs.
Wait, Calvin Johnson made the playoffs one time, right? Well, he's better. Calvin Johnson's better than him too. Yeah. Damn,
Calvin definitely made it once. So
I can't even think. I'm really trying to think about receivers. Right. I can't believe that's an unbelievable stat. Like
it's crazy, bro. So I wouldn't told nobody that shit. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I would never.
Yeah, Andre Johnson definitely got in once.
Man,
okay,
but he's better than Brandon Marshall. He's way better.
Anyway, yeah.
Only twice though, and he had terrible performances.
But he still got in. Yeah, he
yo, I'm thinking. I'm trying to
right.
like fucking.
You can't think of nobody. What the fuck? I am surprised Chicago never got in though. I'm with you. Chicago had an alright little team to me with Alshon Jeffrey or whatever.
Word. I'm like,
but that Brandon Marshall was on his way out. Like right after that, they went to the Jets, didn't he?
He went to the
Brandon Marshall.
He was still good though.
I was like, he was still good. He had his best season with the
on the Jets.
Yeah, and on the Jets too. Yeah. He was snapping.
Yeah, he was still good. He just it wasn't good enough or whatever.
He's
and Ocho Cinco, he got to the playoffs too.
I was about to say, but he's better than him though.
Who?
Chad is better than Brandon Marshall.
Oh yeah, Chad's better than him. Easy. By far.
That's why I said I don't think I was with you until he said him in the playoffs. Now he ain't getting it.
I can't believe this shit. Like even Plaxico Burress
he wasn't really like a game changer.
Nah.
Right.
He wasn't the guy that came in like we said before. He wasn't the guy that was like Brandon Marshall. We had to double him over the top and underneath, shut him down.
Jeff, stop. This man had
he wasn't like that.
Catches. Bro, you're tripping. He had 23 catches in one game.
I swear, if you say that stat one more time, bro,
say
that stat one more time.
He did that shit twice, bro. He had a 23 catch game and a 21 catch game. If you're saying that Brandon Marshall never had to be doubled, bro, anybody who really knows ball.
If a team let him get 23 catches, they wasn't caring that much, bro.
Yeah, you gotta ask
about that. Once you get the 15 catches, a team is going to double you.
Bro, every team doubled Brandon. Oh my God,
bro. I can't.
Bro, you wasn't watching, bro. You tripping, bro.
Okay, so even if they did double, and actually I probably watch him, even if they did double Brandon Marshall, right? He still didn't change the game. Like he couldn't get to the playoffs.
Stop, bro. Their teams were trash.
He wasn't. No, they weren't trash. They really weren't trash. I'm telling you. But he wasn't.
The Chicago team was the only good team, but Jay Cutler, some.
The Denver team had good run game and everything. But look, listen.
You knew they were trash, bro.
Bro, he wasn't like a difference maker like Jeff's saying to make sure the team.
He just,
bro, in Denver, he was definitely a top 5 receiver.
I mean, I don't know.
He might have had Clinton Portis in Denver then too.
Nah, he wasn't. He wasn't there with Clinton Portis. That was a little. Clinton Portis was there in like early 2000s.
He was still there. They had a running game though. I remember that in Denver.
They definitely had a running game. That was their whole thing: zone run, zone blocking scheme.
They still had Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler wasn't running anywhere.
Yo, Jay Cutler ain't that bad, bro. He wasn't that bad in some of them years.
Nah, I actually did like Jay Cutler, but
I did too.
When he left Denver, he was trash. Sorry, he was trash.
He was all right with the Bears still, bro. Or whatever.
That's funny because you saying he was trash when he left Denver, but you saying Brandon Marshall had his best years in Chicago.
And look, Chicago got to the playoffs after Marshall left. That's crazy for the man.
Brandon Marshall came out, right? Like if you listen to one of his because he got his own he got the podcast and shit.
Yeah, with the dudes, with the other football players.
So he was saying when he was in Chicago, or no, who was it who did the interview? Oh, it was Devin Hester.
Okay.
Devin Hester was like, yo, sometimes I didn't even. He said he did a bet with one of the defensive players. Like, yo, I bet you 10 grand. He threw to Brandon Marshall every time in practice. He said he had to stop betting them because every time in practice he would only look for Brandon Marshall. So in the game, he was only throwing it to Brandon Marshall. Like I said, this thing had 20.
Jay Cutler was kind of pedestrian.
Yeah, he was.
In Chicago, he was.
I'm kind of looking at it like right now, like looking at his stats. Bro, he had 1 year where he had 27 touchdowns and 26 picks.
Yeah, I mean,
he almost pulled a Jameis.
I just think that Marshall wasn't a difference maker, man, and I don't think he gets in. If you play 13 years for 4 different teams and don't get a playoffs, you ain't getting in, bro. I'm sorry. Like, your whole Hall of Fame is about the regular season. Like, fuck, that's ridiculous. So, but anyway, let's go ahead and start this show.
No
Ravi. Happened.
Now, Ravi, what is it gonna be late, right, Jeff? I think.
Yeah, that's what he said. He ain't gonna show.
I'll wait for Jordan real quick.
And then this nigga get up like he tricked daddy and shit. Nigga gets up like.
He going to the
wife
gym.
Had me watching that little Love and Hip Hop joint last night.
Yeah, reunion joint or whatever it is.
Whatever that cyber shit. This nigga tricked daddy at like 3:40. Said, "Oh, it's 3:40. I gotta go get my kids." I said, "This is crazy." Lit up, and they had to take his whole thing off the show. Like, all right, just move my. I say, "Yo, he crazy, bro."
But Trick always been crazy, bro. That's that Miami joint or whatever. But anyway, welcome to another episode of Beyond the Trenches, episode 16, talking about the Super Wild Card Weekend. I'm your host, BigMike, on the BigMike and LittleAnt channel. We got our some of our panel here this week. We got Jordan to the top, and then of course we got Jeff.
You already
know.
We
may have our special correspondent Ravi on later on. We're gonna see.
Correspondent from the West Coast.
West Coast correspondent. So before we get into the wild card weekend, we had to talk about the breaking news yesterday. Eagles fired Dougie P and whatnot. Some seen it coming, some thought it may not happen. So I'll let Jeff start. What are your thoughts on the Eagles firing Dougie P and whatnot?
I think it was just bad. It was terrible.
Yeah.
5 seasons and a Super Bowl, and y'all fired this guy. Like it's just, but it's from the reports that I'm hearing that Jeffrey Lurie was trying to make him do something that he wasn't trying to do, and I think they was upset with the whole benching Jalen Hurts at the end of the season to give Nate Sudfeld a couple, shots at the playing on the field or whatever. I think it was bad for the Eagles. I don't have any foresight into what direction the Philadelphia Eagles gonna go. I don't know what they're gonna do with Carson Wentz at this point. I don't know who they're gonna hire because as far as I read earlier, they reached out to Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma. So it sounds like they're trying to keep Jalen Hurts in the fold. So it's like they tried Todd Bowles because they're saying he got local ties because he played at Temple in the mid-'80s, which I don't think that's gonna be a good choice either. They talked to a couple other people, but none of those people were Eric Bieniemy. And that's what kind of mind-boggling to me. Maybe matter of fact, I don't think he can talk to people until like later on in the playoffs. But as far as the Eagles' direction, I'm not sure. Firing Doug Peterson was bad, man. I just don't like that idea.
So do you agree or do you approve or disapprove?
I disapprove. Absolutely.
You disapprove? Okay.
What about you? Do you approve or disapprove, Jordan?
I mean, I called this.
Yeah, you did.
I understand you called it. Well, a lot of people called it, but do you approve or disapprove?
Yeah, I mean, bro, right?
That was you wanted to happen.
Like Jeff, all your points are valid, right? 42 and 37 and 1, 4 and 2 in the playoffs, the Super Bowl, right? But everybody wants to this probably would have made a little bit more sense if they did fire Howie Roseman along with him.
Yeah.
And I can understand the argument where people say, well, why isn't Howie leaving? But just in terms of just as a coach, on the actual football field, it's just been awful since they've won the bowl. It's like the Super Bowl got to his head and he stopped doing what got him to the bowl. I
don't even think it's that. I think it's Frank Reich is such a big piece.
I mean, it's just been that bad, in my opinion. He took, if you look at, after the Super Bowl, right? The core guys that they won the Super Bowl, like I said, they're still there, except for Malcolm Jenkins and Nick Foles. So Nick Foles won them the Super Bowl, right? Doug, Carson, Foles still there. They win the Super Bowl. Next year, they go with Carson. He gets hurt. They need to go back to Foles. Foles takes them to the playoffs, wins against Chicago, almost beats New Orleans, right? Who's still there? Foles, Carson, Doug. Mind you, Doug wasn't good. Doug wasn't good the year after they won the Super Bowl. They were bad. Nick Foles saved them. Last year, Nick Foles is gone. Carson Wentz is still there. Carson Wentz saves us. We don't get into the playoffs without Carson Wentz last year. Doug is still there, looking god-awful. This year, now they both look awful. Who's the common denominator?
You know what? I really believe the whole story about the power struggle because Dougie wanted to keep Nick. And what's the name was like, look, we paid Wentz the money. We got to go with Wentz. You know, he's our number 2 draft pick. I think it was really a power struggle. I think Jeffrey Lurie was trying to step outside of the realm of being an owner. And he wanted to control the actual football operations instead of the bottom line. And I think that's really what I believe in my heart. That's really what transpired. Because, you know, one time you do it with the Nick Foles and Wentz thing, but then with the Jalen Hurts thing and then the Wentz thing, you know, now you got 2 instances. You know, you can't fool me twice really with this. So I think it was really a power struggle. And for him to go is bad. I don't even know who they would hire. I don't even know who would want that team. It's such a disarray.
I mean, they interviewed the defensive coordinator from San Fran. So, I mean, I'm hoping.
That doesn't fix the offensive issues.
I mean, if they get the thing is, I mean, bro, they have, like Mike, we talked about it yesterday, right? Did you agree with me when I said coming into the season, it's pretty much been the same team that they've had since they won the Super Bowl. This was a playoff-worthy roster on paper coming into the season.
You keep saying that, and that's not true.
You're the only one that said you didn't feel like it wasn't true.
They let go of Nelson Aguilar, who ended up having the best season of his career the next year. I'm not saying that he's a breakout stud, but he was familiar with the system. They let go of Nick Foles, who basically won y'all the chip and was on the cusp of getting y'all closer to it the next year. That team is totally different. Malcolm Jenkins was gone. That's a whole other.
But it's not different though. The core guys are still there, bro.
Who's your core guys? Your 3 guys on the line?
The defensive line, the offensive line,
the cornerbacks are totally different.
The receivers, majority of the guys are still there. Darby only played in the Super Bowl.
I mean, but those guys were there for more than 1 year. It's just
David Mills is still there.
I'll give you 5 players that are the core players that you kept, which are, you know, your guy BG, Cox,
Kelsey,
Lane Johnson, Wentz, which was on the bench, so he doesn't really get any credit.
Zach Ertz, Alshon Jeffrey.
Okay.
They're all still there.
That's 5.
That's more than 5. But they're all still there though, bro. This team was a playoff-worthy team. They went to the playoffs last year. So why didn't they go this year? Because the Doug beat and Carson Wentz.
The division was terrible last year, and the division was terrible this year.
All right, so
to answer your question, Mike, I approve of the firing. Time was up.
All right, so I think you both are right in certain ways. I think that so last year they were like, what were they? 6 and 5? No, before they won the last 4 games or whatever.
They were 5 and 5, and they won one off 4.
Yeah,
right. So they beat the NFC East, which we know are trash for the last 4 games. That's why they got in the playoffs or whatever. So that really helped. No, but real talk, that really helped Doug and Carson, but it definitely helped Doug at the time because they won those last 4 games, got in the playoffs. Now, here's the thing: Jordan is partially right. They got a lot of the same players, but they're not the same players that they were 3-4 years ago. So yeah, they are the same, but they're not the same. So Ertz is a shell of himself right now. Carson, we'll see what he was doing. Kelsey could be hurt. Lane Johnson be hurt. Miles Sanders is not running backs that were there at the time, so that's also not the same thing. So it's a little bit of difference. Now, I say that to say this. Doug is calling the same plays like he got the same team. That's where the problem lies. He's still calling all them fucking 4th and 1s and 4th and 2 pass plays for no reason. Still going for all these 2-point conversions early in the game for no reason. When he don't have the same squad. Now, it came down to Carson and Doug, really, at the end of the day, or whatever. So Carson ain't trust Doug no more. Carson feel like, first with Nick Foles, now with this, I don't trust you. And then Doug ain't trust Carson. I think with the power struggle, Jeff, this is what I heard. I heard that Jeffrey Lurie wants to rebuild, and Dougie thought no, they can be right back next year contending or whatever.
Right.
And they were on different pages or whatever like that. So
we're the same team, right?
So what you think? Can y'all contend next year, or do you want to rebuild like Lori and start from scratch?
I don't think they can contend next year. If they got the same fucking people that just rolled out there this year.
But you just said the coach was the problem, so they got rid of the problem.
Hopefully, I will hope so, because I believe he was truly the problem.
So why don't you believe that they'll go to the playoffs next year?
Listen, if Carson Wentz plays a little bit better this year, they probably win some more games, honestly. So
they still had a chance to get in the playoffs, and they played Dallas in Week 16 and stumped it up.
They weren't out of every. They were in majority of every game, but for a few this year, they were in the game. Carson.
So you think Doug was more problem than Carson, Jordan?
That's what he's saying.
over a stretch of since the Super Bowl, yes, Doug.
I'm talking about this year, bro.
This year,
yeah,
I would say they have equal blame. I wouldn't give one more.
Listen, man, Doug might call the plays, but Carson throwing the passes, and he throwing them to the other team. And he dropped the ball on the carpet. He can't run because he's scared. When he did, like Mike said, when Carson started to run a little bit and trust his legs a little better, the offense became a little bit more explosive. But when he started to run more, his passing got worse.
So why do you continue to throw the ball? When you're a coach, you need to work around your players' strengths, not what they're doing bad.
They was gonna run pistol plays like Lamar Jackson and run with Wentz? Are you
figure it out? You're the coach. Figure it out.
He did figure it out. He put Wentz on the bench.
So when he put Jalen right
until it was too late. Until it was too late, and that probably cost him his job.
Okay, I can see
that's possible.
That's possible.
That probably cost him his job because when you're the coach, bro, you have to take what you've been giving and use you got to take the talent you have and get the best out of it. That's I'm not trying to compare.
But let's talk about the talent though. Howie did no favors over the last 5 years, really. They have no Pro Bowlers. He drafted no Pro Bowlers in the last 5 years, bro.
Yo, everybody says that, right?
That's true. What you mean?
But we all know Pro Bowl doesn't matter. There's guys who are great players that don't make the Pro Bowl. Come on, let's be real.
Because players that year have had better seasons.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Not necessarily. There was guys who had better seasons there was guys who had better seasons this year that didn't even make the Pro Bowl.
But that means the guys that did make it had better seasons. Or won more. Because winning does factor into the Pro Bowl.
Who did he draft in the last 5 years that should have been a Pro Bowler? Thank you. That's my point.
Nobody so far because they haven't really got. We didn't have. Who was our first round pick? Dillon was our first round pick.
No, I thought Rager was.
No, I'm talking
about third round.
Yeah. Oh.
No. Rager
was a first round pick.
Jefferson. I'm talking about the year before that though.
Wasn't it Arcega Whiteside? Or that was the year before that.
Nah, he was like a second round.
Yeah.
But Howie is striking out. He's been striking out.
Oh my God.
He's striking out, but he's been there for 20 years. He's probably in bed with Jeffrey Lurie. He's not. They weren't gonna fire him. Come on. He's been an Eagle for 20 years.
How he been striking out? That don't discount the fact that he's missing on the draft.
But my point was, you say about Dougie P dealing with his talent, but how we not giving him great talent? That's all I'm saying. Whatnot, like throughout.
Why I think Doug P got the short end of the stick is because look, when his offense is tailored around guys like Jalen Hurts. You know what I'm saying? They can run that read option thing and give you that elusiveness to say, hey, he might really run. Yo, Carson Wentz wasn't running. They knew he wasn't running, so they knew that, you might run that read option, but we're going to sit right here, and we're going to wait for you to throw it.
I was going to say another thing. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I think Carson's broken too, though, honestly. He need to be fixed or whatever. I think he needs, I don't know what they need. So
it might be a mechanical thing with him.
Is he probably lost the locker room as well after what happened after the last.
He lost the locker room last year.
He probably lost the locker room after what happened. And
are you talking about Doug or are you talking about Carson?
You talking about
Doug. That probably could have been the icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? That probably.
But some of the players came out and said that he told them ahead of time that he was going to pull Hurts to let Sudfeld get in. Lane Johnson said that.
But was that Doug's decision or was the Howie decision? Or Jeffrey's decision?
Doug is coming out saying that came from up top.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So he caught the stick.
Look, you're the coach. You ain't the owner. You're gonna do what I tell you to do. If not, you kick rocks.
But the owner don't know football. He know business.
Yeah,
right.
Lori, that's true.
I feel you on that, but it's business. You know that.
Yeah, it is business, but it's
all right. So
crazy.
do you want an offensive coach or defensive coach then, Jordan?
No, I don't think. I think personally, I mean, me personally, I prefer a defensive coach because I remember that the Philadelphia Eagles that I know. I remember those early 2000 teams, great defenses, run the ball. Eagles were always known for having good defenses. Ever since Jimmy Johnson died, they've just been
right. But he was just a DC though. Andy was offensive coach.
Yeah, Andy. Yeah.
No, I know that. But I'm just saying, like, I would prefer a defensive. I would prefer a defensive coach just to have the whole mindset of the team. This is a defensive team. Be tough, physical. Get back to that shit. I'm not trying to.
I disagree with that. I think they need an offensive coach because the rest of the
division say that though. I get because of the issues. Like
no. I'm saying because the rest of the division is trying to get better offensively. I mean, the Giants, of course, they got Saquon, they got Daniel Jones. We're trying to see how that plays out. The Cowboys have Dak and Zeke still. This year they got Cooper. They got the other receivers that showed up as well. And the Redskins got the boy Gibson, and then they got McLaurin at receiver. So the rest of the division is kind to add offensive players and get better. So if the Eagles don't get offensively explosive, and I mean they have to be explosive, they got to get deep plays down the field, stretch the field, all that read zone, read option, throwing a slant inside to Jeffrey for 5 yards, and teams pick up on that stuff after a while. So we got to see. And honestly, I like Peterson going for those 4th downs and those 2-point conversions. Because you know what? Nobody criticized Ron Rivera when Ron Rivera did this shit all the time.
How can you? Yeah, but it worked. Some of it worked more than Peterson this year.
But it also cost Ron Rivera his job.
Right. He got the nickname Riverboat Ron, always gambling. And see what happens.
I was gonna say, Jeff, you right about the offenses, but they need to have some defense to be stopping that.
Bro, if it's the first quarter, you score a touchdown, you need to go for 2. Like, I think this is dumb.
Yeah. And then they were mad at him because of the fact that he went for the 4th and 1 instead of going for the field goal. I'm like, he's been doing this shit for 3 years.
Right. He's been doing this.
But nobody said nothing when the chip came home.
But he don't have the same team. That's my point. Yeah. They don't have the same roster. He even had agent. Who was he running back? Ajayi and Blunt and them like that.
What happened to him? He just.
I mean, he was never. I mean, he was.
I mean, I'm just saying, like he was better than Corey Clement, who's on the special teams now, and he won't probably be on the roster start full next year.
That's
you know what I'm saying? They had players.
Corey's all right, bro.
I tell you who happy that Doug's out. Miles Sanders. He might get the ball 20 times now, or whatever. With Doug out.
Hopefully his body can hold up.
Yeah, but Jordan. Last question. Jeff said he don't know, but what you think about happens now in the quarterback with Doug on, with Carson and Hurts and stuff?
Shit, I mean, I don't know either. It's got to be an open competition at this point. I mean, Jalen Hurts didn't light it up. Like he had some great moments. He had some good games, but I mean, last game in the season, he looked like a
rookie,
middle school. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So
no
training camp. No,
I mean, he was like a rookie.
He played a couple games this season.
Yeah, he's got a full training camp under his belt. Make it a competition. Whoever wins, wins.
See, I think now Carson's job now. I think.
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay, yeah.
It was one or the other.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It was one or the other.
Shit, they don't want $100 million just sitting there.
Well, they could have traded him, and I keep saying this, and I wish it would happen. They could have traded him to the Colts, reunited him with Frank Wright, put him in the AFC, and they could have paid the money.
And now they're gonna wind up with Hurts on the bench doing nothing for years now. What?
Anyway, he gonna get paid. Yeah, he gonna get paid anyway.
Who? Hurts?
Yeah, Carson. He gonna get paid regardless. But my thing is, like, I was funny because I was thinking about that shit. I'm like, when you the owner, when you invest in money into this person, so you want your investment to produce.
Right. The weird thing,
so you're gonna be out there.
You don't normally see non-injured quarterbacks get benched and then come back the next year. That's like weird to me or whatever. But
very weird. Normally, when you get benched, that means you're done with the organization.
Right. So I ain't never really seen that. Like, you wasn't injured and you got benched and they just bring you back the next year. That's something new to me or whatever. But
Do you think they can use Hurts as trade bait or not?
What they gonna get? Third, 4th round?
Yeah,
they're not gonna get.
It's not worth it. Yeah. Plus, then what you got as a backup? Upfield, yeah. So, and we know Carson can still be getting injured. We know how Carson gets. So, I would definitely keep Hurts. So
Still could be a Hurts team at some point.
Hey, well, anyway, let's move on, man. From that, let's talk about the weekend, though. Super wild card weekend, they called it. We had 6 wild card games, which was
first time ever.
A lot of fun to watch, stuff like that. And let's start with the NFC. So, I made it that way. Let's go with the Bucks versus Washington football team. The Bucks win, and we're like a good game to me. But I know you guys had thoughts. So we're talking about a little bit in our chat. But Jeff, what are your thoughts? And the question is, did the Bucks show they can make a true Super Bowl run after that victory in the playoffs? No.
I think they could. I think the important part about the playoffs is who you play and how you get off. Because playoff runs can start in that first round if you get a couple, opponents that you can kind of warm up and get running, hit the ground running. And I think that might have just helped them. Washington didn't play too bad. They didn't play terrible, but it wasn't the competition level that, that would make me think, dang, the Bucks have no shot at it. This weekend is going to be very interesting this weekend against the Saints. It's really 50-50 in my opinion, but I think that Bucks defense is going to get to Drew Brees, and I could see them knocking them off, honestly. And I forget, Ndamukong Suh is on the defensive line there. I know he's not like the name he used to be, but wow.
Yeah, well, we're going to pick that game later on and whatnot. But, Jordan, what do you think about the Bucks versus Washington? And did they show enough to make a Super Bowl run? Did they can make a Super Bowl run?
No, yeah, I think they did. They said you can't ever count out Brady. You know what I'm saying? Him and Antonio Brown are starting to get more of a connection, and when that starts, when they start to have a connection, like when that, because it's getting more hot each week. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nobody out there that can guard Antonio Brown one-on-one. It doesn't matter. It could be your best corner or it could be your fourth corner. It don't matter.
Right.
So
if you double him, then you got to worry about Evans and Godwin. Like,
yeah. What's the status on Ronald Jones?
Shit, do they need him?
They need a running game. They got to have a running game. That's the only way the play action is going to work.
But no, I get that. But I'm saying I think they can lean on Fournette. I mean, you feel me?
Okay. I don't have trust in Fournette. That's why I asked about the Ronald Jones thing.
Wasn't he was on a COVID job, though, right? I think.
I thought he was hurt. I thought he played bad and they went away from him.
His finger was jacked up.
Okay.
He was on COVID like week 15, week 14, week 15. Then his finger was jacked up.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if Rojo's playing or not. Or whatnot. But we'll talk about that. But how you thought Brady looked, Jeff? I know you had some thoughts about that.
Yeah, I like the way Brady looked, and like Jordan said, I mean he was inefficient. Of course, I'm not big on I'm big on efficiency. It's kind of like a shooting percentage. If you shoot 30 times to get 20 points, I'm not happy with that, even no matter you win or not. But I think that him getting the opportunity to throw the ball that many times kind of gets his arm riled up for this run, and kind of gets the moment, like Jordan said, getting the momentum because he's throwing the Brown. I didn't even know he threw the Brown so many times at the end of the season. Brown ended up getting a $500,000 bonus because he got so many catches going.
He did it on purpose to make sure he got a bonus.
Yeah, he did it on purpose. Yeah. So, like I said about that whole hitting the ground running thing, I believe that that's important for teams. Teams can make a run if they can get a good start. Brady did though for the 381 and the touchdowns, but he threw his percentage wasn't that great to me. But I think that was like a warm-up game for them. I really do for the entire team. I think they'll be warmed up. They'll be ready to go against the Saints. I think they're going to come into there and they'll do some damage. And I think Brady won't have to throw as many passes because I think that he'll be connecting more efficiently. And that'll help the offense and even the defense too.
What about the defense, Jordan? How do you think they look? Because they, the kid, he was putting up some points on him or whatever. The kid in Washington.
He was. But, I think they have an issue
on the back end
who can move around. Like the Buccaneers defense has a little bit of issue with who can move around. Drew Brees is going to be sitting there all day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that and that's a division game. They got their ass kicked twice by them.
Oh no.
Hard to beat a team 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In one season. And
I think it'll be the first time in history.
And then like I said, man, I trust Tom Brady over Drew Brees. You give me
well, okay. Well, we'll pick that game later on. But let's move on. Speaking of division rivals, the
Wait,
Rams.
Mike, what do you think about the Bucks?
Oh, see, I'll be hosting, man.
I know. That's why I wanted to give you a chance.
Yeah. You see me on the other show, same thing. But no, I think that so I think Brady over the last 4 or 5 games against weaker opponents, but I think him and Bruce Arians, I think they really got on the same page. He's really running his offense, which is just take the top off or whatever. He was inefficient, but most of the time because he had so many 20-yard completions, it was crazy. It was like bombs away out there. And then I think with that being their, I'll talk about this a little later on, but with that being their game plan, I think that other teams going to try to leave somebody over the top so they don't throw it long, and then Brady will like dink a dunk on them or whatever. Okay. So I think Brady can do it either way or whatnot. So and Fournette, he has some. I think Fournette was rested because he didn't run all season, so he looked pretty good in that first game.
He should be fresh.
He definitely fresh. Right. So we'll see about that. And then it's crazy because they got so many weapons. I be forgetting about Gronk is even there or whatever a lot of time. Like, it's crazy.
Not the same used to.
Yeah, but he's the same in a running game. He'll still block your ass. True. Trust me. So and that's the good thing about Gronk.
True. Yeah. Fournette did have a good game.
Yeah, Fournette had a good game. Like I said, AB is doing his thing. And then Evans, Evans, Evans the first receiver to have 7 straight years of 1,000 yards, which is crazy.
See that shit. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That's watered down a little bit.
It is. Because he's
watered down a little bit.
But that's still impressive to me.
It's impressive, but it's watered down a little bit because they were bad and Jameis threw a lot and. You know what I'm saying? It's like James throwing 5,000 yards, but he threw 30 interceptions. So it's like, oh yeah, that's great. But at the same time,
for you to have 1,000 every year you stepped in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it real.
Knowing that the other team
1,000 yards a season receiving, that's kind of like 4,000 yards passing starting.
It's not a lot. No, I don't think it's crazy, but still nobody does it every year for some reason or whatever. They either get hurt or whatever. Evans do that. I think it's impressive a little bit. But again, he barely broke 1,000 this year or whatever. But they still got a lot of weapons. So, I was impressed by him. I thought that BA called a good game. I thought that they were surprised by Hinkie. I don't think they were ready for him. They were ready for Alex Smith or whatever, because nobody knew who was gonna play or whatever, this kid. So I think they were ready for that. But we'll see, what happens next week. But Rams Seahawks. So the question is, I told y'all he was gonna lose after that post or whatever.
What you say?
The question is, Seahawks lose. After that crazy start from Russ and the Seahawks, they were 5-0 at one point. So at this point, who's to blame for their loss and stuff like that? Jordan, you start this time, bro.
For the playoff loss.
Yeah.
I mean, let's give credit to the Rams defense first. Rams defense is lights out. They played extremely well. DK Metcalf was, for the majority, I mean, he had that one long bomb, but it wasn't on Ramsey. Anytime he was on Ramsey had that shit shut. So let's give credit to where credit is due. Seahawks did just fire their OC like a couple hours ago too. It wasn't Bevel. It was like Schottenheimer.
Okay.
Yeah. They just fired him a couple hours ago. They don't have a run game.
No.
Like they have no, like, when we think of Seattle Seahawks, like what are we thinking about?
Russ.
Like right now, but I'm talking about back when, you know what I'm saying? Legion of Boom and Marshawn Lynch. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a complete 180. Like, that's not them anymore. Like,
Chris Carson ain't it. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, they're just like, bomb it down, let Russ cook. Like, don't get me wrong, Russ is the third. I mean, after this year, he might not be the third best quarterback in the NFL.
I'll take Deshaun Watson.
I mean, I say, he might be 4th or 5th, like, because he been folding too much for me. You feel what I'm saying? Especially late in the season. So he's not, he's not Mahomes, he's not Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? So he can't. It's clear he cannot carry you to the promised land. He needs more around him. He needs more help. They need to be more balanced. People are starting to look at Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll should have lost his job. Pete Carroll should have lost his job when they didn't get the ball to Marshawn Lynch.
Nah.
He should have lost his job then. You know, they need to look at Pete Carroll like, yo, they might need a fresh voice in there.
Okay. What about your thoughts? You think that's true, Jeff? The fresh voice, Greta Carroll?
I do. I think Pete Carroll is too fat. He's too infatuated with Russell Wilson being a superstar quarterback. That for one, I give some of the blame to the general manager too, because the offensive line is terrible. They haven't found a running back who is going to be their bell cow or to complement Russ. Now he hits the home run on DK Metcalf, who had a great game in my opinion. 5 catches, 96 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yes, albeit not against Jalen, but 5 catches. 2 touchdowns, almost 100 yards. That's not a good game.
What he almost shut out in the first half? I thought though, like he was like, he had a good second half, but the first half he was like shut out almost.
Well, I said a game. I ain't say nothing about halves.
All right. Okay, all right.
So so I do give some of the blame to Pete Carroll. I just think Pete Carroll, he just got this hard on for making Russ a superstar, and gotta let it go. Like it has to be a team thing. And I think he's out to prove to the players that they let go that he didn't need them because he had Russ. And I think it's backfiring on him.
Yeah, that's definitely what this is. Because they let they just let everybody walk. I mean, Earl Thomas. I mean, Cam Chancellor kind of had to go because he was injured. But who else? I mean, Richard Sherman.
But how would they pay all those guys?
April.
They couldn't pay all those guys. Those guys
were, no, they couldn't pay all those guys and Russ.
Well, that's right. But they decided to choose Russ over these other guys who
it's the NFL. That's what they do. It's a quarterback-driven league. Teams will value the quarterback, a la Philadelphia, more than the coach.
And that's why they ain't won no playoff games since then.
I'm gonna tell you what, though. Right, I'm with Jordan. If you got all those good defensive guys, you probably got a better chance of winning than one good quarterback. If it ain't Mahomes or Rodgers or something like that, or whatever. And even though Russ is good, top 5 all the time, no matter what. You know, he don't since Super Bowl that Marshawn Lynch won or whatever, when he threw the pick, by the way, let's be clear. Russ did throw the pick. Whatever. But however, he ain't been like I said, he'll show up in clutch times, like great games or whatever, like especially in the playoffs or whatever.
Yeah, in the playoffs.
But I'll put the blame on him. I think it is Carroll at this point. Carroll's kind of got stale, I think, or whatever. I think they do need a new voice. The OC, that was a good firing to start with. They definitely got to get better on both sides. Remember, defense wasn't that great in the middle of the season, early in the season, stuff like that. So, O-line, like
put up 30, right? The Rams put up fucking 30,
right? Well, they put up 30 with fucking
a broken thumb on golf.
Well, first they had a backup in there. Then a broken thumb on golf or whatever. Like it's crazy. So I don't get it. So. Yeah, I think Carroll's the reason, but I'm sorry, man. Russ gotta for the season, I'm gonna focus on football. I don't care. I do think having a podcast. I'm sorry, bro. Doing all these videos and all this shit. I'm sorry.
He can't have a podcast, bro.
He's not dangerous. He's distracted, Russ.
Right. He can't have a podcast. What are you talking about? It's crazy. Not during the season. He can be playing, practicing, looking at the playbook. Watching film, what the fuck? Like
was he doing the podcast when he was throwing for 400, 300 in the beginning of the season?
Yeah, he was.
And what happened? And what happened to that? He fell off. Or whatever. Well, why don't you interview Dwayne Wade? He retired. He can do the interview. Whatever.
He might be getting a little bit too much sushi. You know what I mean?
No, that's the problem because and she didn't want to distract him or whatever. Like, I know this is wife or whatever. Like, I feel you, but listen, they shouldn't be doing all these fucking dancing TikToks on other shit. Focus on football. Football only 4.5 months, bro.
Together, I know the photos ain't one shot kill either. That's like, that's 10 times. Like, hold up.
Every time he posted, I was right. Every time he posted some shit, they lost.
He don't care. He got his ring. He don't care.
I do feel like that. I feel like Russ is kind of like he gonna be good, but I feel like he's satisfied. He not like he don't got that fire or whatever. Like Brady keeps that shit no matter how old he gets, no matter how many rings he got. Huh?
That's why he got 6.
Right, exactly. I don't know if Russ got that. Moving on forward, man. Saints versus the Bears. Not much to talk about this game. But as far as Breeze though, he came back. How does it look to you guys? Look like he can show enough to make a run with them, with the Saints right now. So
that's another one of those cases, in my opinion, the same thing as Brady. If he's getting warmed up against lesser or inferior opponents, the next opponent should fear him. But I don't think Breeze is healthy all the way. And honestly, we know he's not healthy. There's no way he recovered from 10 fractured ribs in that amount of time. It's just not happening like that. So I don't think he's healthy, and I don't like the fact that Sean Payton has to incorporate Taysom Hill. Like, I'm not a fan of bringing in the backup quarterback to run plays when you're having a drive down the field. I'm not a fan of that. That takes the momentum off your starting quarterback. You know what I'm saying? It gets everybody else out of sync. It probably creates frustration in the huddle on the sidelines, and especially when you bring that guy in and those plays don't work. Like, Taysom Hill has runs that go for like 1 yard or loss of yards, and I'm like, man, that could be Breeze throwing a pass to somebody. That could be Kamara getting a touch. That could be Thomas getting a touch. You know, I don't like that. And I don't know. I mean, I'm changing the pendulum because I think Brady and them look just too good. They look
all right. We'll get to that, bro. What about the Saints, Jordan, and how they look right now in Breeze? What do you think?
I'm worried about them. I ain't even gonna lie. That wasn't the best. That wasn't the greatest game against Chicago. You feel me? Chicago Bull dropped the pass in the end zone. It's a closer game.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? I'm not feeling them. I'm not. Now, they defense showed up, but you know what I'm saying? Tampa Bay got a better offense than Chicago.
Well, that defense ain't got to show up too much for Mitchell Trubisky, even though Trubisky was playing well the last.
Trubisky was lighting it up. They was averaging like 30 a game.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks. But remember, he just came off the pine, and he's not really, an elite quarterback that's going to test him. Again, I think it's over for the Saints.
What about Breeze, Jordan? What do you think about how he looked then?
I mean, he looked all right. I mean, for him to be, he looked all right. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But he looked like all-world regular Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to have some problems. They're going to have some problems. Because Chicago only led them. They only had, 21 points, I believe, right? It was.
But they was up 21.
Yeah, it was 21-9. They covered the 10, though. I told you should have bet the cover.
Sidebar betting.
Yeah, word.
Jordan be all scared of
it. He put 10 on his 10. You know how that go.
Yo, yesterday, right? My ticket was the chip game over 75. You feel me? Mm-hmm. And then I had like Zion with like 9 boards, but that shit got voided. And then Sabonis had got like 20 points because I put his Sabonis down for 20 because they was playing the Kings. But I would have won $123. They voided my shit. I won like $70.
How much you won?
Like $70.
Oh, that's all right.
Off like it was off like $10. So like 10, 15.
Oh, that ain't bad. All right, moving on forward. No, Saints. I think bro, I'm with Jeff. The most biggest point. I don't think Breeze ever got really back healthy. I think they brought him back too soon to try to make the playoffs. I think they've been out of sync ever since like he went down. Mike don't even look like he normally look or whatever like that, and he was off early in the season. So they really not, to me, like I know they went on that run at one point, but right now going into the playoffs, they look out of sync. If it wasn't for them playing Chicago, they might have lost, like Jordan said. And I agree with you, Jeff, about I don't like that bringing in quarterback. If you got 2 quarterbacks, to me, you got nothing. Like I hate that shit.
So, you got a problem.
Yeah, you definitely got a problem. And the Eagles do that with Hurts and whatever like that too. So,
then sometimes that should have worked in New Orleans. That shit wasn't fucking working with the Eagles.
Yo, they was bringing in Taysom Hill to throw the deep ball.
He was fumbling the ball, butterfingers and shit.
Like they was Hill and throw like a 50-yard pass. I'm like, why couldn't Breeze do that? Like, what are they doing?
Sometimes, but you know what? Sometimes people like Sean Payton, Sean McVay, those offensive guys, Andy Reid, they could be smarter than what they could be too smart for their own good or whatever. Yeah. And they do a lot.
Didn't Taysom Hill throw a pick in the game?
Other day? I don't know. Did he?
That guy today, Tobi.
So he threw some dumb shit. I think he did throw a pick.
He's not a quarterback, man. He's Tim Tebow. Yes.
Anyway, moving on forward, man. Well, let's go to the let's go to the AFC, much better conference, and in the playoffs or whatever. Let's talk about the Ravens and the Titans and how impressive was Lamar in his first playoff win. I know you had thoughts about this, Jeff. What do you got, man?
Lamar was the running saved him. Like yeah. I know I can't I gotta rock the boat.
Go ahead, say what you thought.
So he ran for 136 yards. The longest play of the game was his run. the passing, the crazy part is his passing was not that bad, but it wasn't enough to threaten the defense to say, hey, we are going to, you know what I'm saying? We're going to fear that. So his running capabilities are good. I'm happy he got that first win, get it off his shoulders. As I've said plenty of times on this show, I'm not a fan of the running quarterback having longevity. I just never think it works. I look at Michael Vick. I look at RG3. I look at Randall Cunningham. All these players who never had a high level of success as far as getting to the long in the playoffs, maybe to the championship, winning a Super Bowl. Those running quarterbacks just don't do that. I don't think Lamar will either at some point in his career. I'm enjoying the ride, and I'm going to love the him and Mahomes battle back and forth. But Lamar's got to get better at passing, man. I mean, he really does.
Okay, well, we'll get back to that. Jordan, what do you think about Lamar, his first win?
I mean, yeah, I was definitely happy for him that, what I'm saying, he got that. I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan. I liked him when he was at Louisville. I'm happy that the Ravens took a chance on him because, as we know, three of us sitting here, guys like him don't normally get the shot to play that position at the highest level. So I was happy for him and shit. To Jeff's point, I mean, yeah, him throwing the ball, I mean, it's not good at all. I mean, it was all right, yeah. But they did what they were supposed to do. You feel me? I did what they thought they was going to do. I figured they was going to win the game. They was favored. You feel what I'm saying? And I figured they was going to win the game because they was hot. They got some animosity. You see what they did at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was basically like F y'all. You feel what I'm saying?
All about that.
Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? But one thing I will say, they got what? They got Buffalo, right? He better not throw no picks.
Well, we'll get to the future games. Talk about this game.
Well, yeah. In terms of that, yeah, I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. They're going to win games with him running the ball. That's the only way they're going to win games. Because if they don't run the ball with him, they're not going to win. And Jeff, to your point, when you say you don't like, you don't really like the running quarterback and Mike Vick and all that, the only thing I'll say about that is, like, perfect example, when Mike Vick was playing, right? They didn't have the offense wasn't designed for him to necessarily be a runner.
Right. He was taking off.
He was just taking off. You know what I'm saying? They're designing all these read options and all this other shit. Like, he could be the best player on the field at any point because you can't catch him. You know what I'm saying? So if he don't turn the ball over and they can just continue to run the ball like he did, they can be scary. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just think that running, somebody gonna catch him and they gonna lay that wood to him, and it always happens to these running quarterbacks. And he only bought $180 soaking wet, like you know what I'm saying? So
he be taking them Jones.
He take him because he's a tough dude. You know what I'm saying? But those hits will compile and they will wear and tear on his body. And until he becomes and evolves into a passing quarterback who uses the run when necessary and not as a part of the game plan, he's putting himself at risk every time.
I think that he do got to get better. If he got like just 20% better, it'd be crazy. Because if they got to, I'm telling you, because if they got to respect the pass, and then he can really, it's incredible because if you rush him, if you don't keep your lane discipline, he's jumping out the window. He's gone. Like
3rd and 8, right? That 3rd and 8, that touchdown. I mean, that was. I'm sitting there looking at it live, like he just got out that shit, like
right. And then and the crazy part was the cornerbacks had the angles, and he still did them. Great, like gone. So if he became a little bit better passer, but I'm with Jeff. I'm enjoying the ride right now. He is a show, like he a whole show, and the stuff that he do. And I did feel like as far as the game is concerned, I mean, I want to go the other way with it. I felt like the Titans were disappointing after the season that they had. And your boy Tannehill didn't show up, Jeff, or whatever, after he'd been nice. Go ahead.
The Tannehill numbers were okay. He didn't flake out. He just didn't have the benefit of him.
I was gonna say, yeah, he didn't flake out. He didn't play great, but he didn't flake.
Yeah, he didn't garner the contract he just got with his last game.
Derrick Henry was bad.
Derrick Henry was bad?
Derrick Henry was bad, bro.
Who?
Derrick Henry was bad.
Who?
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry had a bad game.
Nah. The Ravens just came in, knew that they was putting 8, 9 in the box.
And they was smacking him, bro.
You can't look. nobody's gonna be 8-9 in a box when you got 6 linemen running.
Teams be doing that shit, and he be running niggas over. Like,
Now, this is the Baltimore Ravens. This defense is a lot tougher. They're known for their defense. I was shocked his numbers were so bad. I'll put the blame here on the coaching. Like, they didn't do anything to get offensive coordinator. They didn't do anything to get him going. Like unconventional. It's like they figured, all right, well, we're gonna do the same exact thing we did last time. Like the other team didn't watch the film.
But he don't catch though.
Yeah, he don't. But they gotta run. They was running them up the gut like with 9 guys in the box on third and 3. Like, bro, he's not going to get that. It's 10 guys in there waiting for him.
But that's what I'm saying. They coming like, man, look, this is what we've been doing all season. Fuck it.
That's the problem. That's a sign of bad coaching. When you don't make any adjustments, or you don't make adjustments during the game or before the game starts, knowing that they're going to counter or try to take out your best option, that's a sign of not good coaching.
I mean, they were due though. I mean, they were due. I mean, they got beat by them twice in a row. They were due. They were gonna lose this game.
Yeah. I mean, I think though on that 4th and 2, he should have went for it and used Henry instead of putting the ball. And that might have changed the game a little bit, in my opinion. Not saying that was the whole game. Huh?
People forget Tannehill got some wheels too. He's not Lamar, but he got some wheels. He could. Tannehill had no rushing attempts. Yeah. Like they weren't putting him in a position to be able to maximize. Because, like you said, Mike, even if they did like how they should do with Lamar, like, okay, I'm gonna give you a little bit of pass that make you back up, and then I'm gonna run, and then when you come up, I'm gonna go deep again. Like the Titans didn't do anything of that magnitude. Like they just stayed the course.
The defense, though, I mean, their Ravens defense showed they showed up.
That's it.
Yeah, they showed.
You can't fool good defense.
Yeah,
that's disrespectful.
They're scary.
And don't forget, it is Harbaugh. Harbaugh been a good coach for several years or whatever. So he know what he's doing, stuff like that. So, but moving on forward to the other AFC team, one of Jeff's favorite team, the Bills. Nobody circles the wagons, right? Buffalo Bills versus the Colts. So, so the game was it? Were the Bills really that good, or the Colts make too many mistakes to lose? What do you think, Jeff?
The Bills were really that good. I mean, they jumped out on them from the 20. Yes, Jordan, I know they had. It would have been different had that one drive happened, but it didn't. And the Bills jumped right on them cats, 24-10. And they was, that's just what it was. The Colts didn't make many mistakes because Rivers didn't throw an interception, and he threw for over 400 yards. That's the first time I think in like one of the few times in history that happened.
So he had a good playoff game for once.
He had a really good playoff game, but what the running game do? You know what I'm saying? And of course, he's going to have that many yards if you're behind already. Yeah. You got to throw the ball at that point. How else are you going to catch up? I think the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, I'm telling you, that boy, I like him coming out of Wisconsin, but whoever they hired to fix his mechanics, he need to call him for Carson Wentz. Immediately.
But they also brought up Stephon Diggs too, so that was a big help.
I said that earlier. I've been saying that all season too. You get a guy number 1, it'll make him better. And Diggs had 1,500 yards this year.
He led the league in receptions and yards.
Yeah, his most productive season ever. And I think that's a big deal. The running game was terrible. It is terrible in Buffalo.
It is.
Like, what happened?
No, they just signed Devontae Freeman.
Bro, that means it's terrible.
Why he just on the Giants sign?
The Giants, yeah.
Well, there was a new thing.
If you're on a practice squad, you can get signed by another team that's playing.
Like, there's a guy from
the Packers and the Colts. Yeah, Vandelier. He played with the Colts and he gonna play with the Packers this Sunday.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Because they were saying, I was reading today, they were like, well, what would happen if the guy played on a divisional foe and that team got knocked out and he was on the practice squad and then he went to the team that just knocked him out? Like, or what if he's preparing? But, again, back on topic, the Buffalo Bills are just really good. The momentum is hot. I think, they handled their business. The Colts were the Colts. They're really a good team. Phillip Rivers had a really good game. That defense disappointed me. That Indianapolis Colts defense disappointed me. I thought they would be so much better. I thought it would be tailored for them to win, but the sun shine on the dog's ass sometimes.
Jordan, what you thoughts on the game, man?
Listen, I understand how you could say this was a really good Buffalo team in a Buffalo game, but the Colts fucking blew it. They fucking blew it.
I mean, it was just that
They
one
didn't
drive.
make any mistakes. The biggest mistake they made was one, right. The Bulls dropped the pass going to halftime, right? But fuck it. They went away from the run early. It was like they wanted to be pretty and shit. Like, it don't gotta be pretty.
They
Keep
wanted
the
to
ball
shoot it
out of Josh Allen's hands. Don't continue to give him the ball. He had a shitload of chances the whole game. So you keep giving him chances, they get in the rhythm. He started balling. Once he started balling, it was over. They couldn't stop it. They couldn't stop the bleeding. Now they started to come back, but that shit was a fluke.
Josh Allen has such a complete game. It's crazy. Like, nobody even talked about him this week. I think he threw for over like 300 yards and he ran for a touchdown. Like, he had 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards, and was very efficient. So, I'm just excited to see what goes on. They've got to get a running back in Buffalo. Something.
I'm just pissed. I'm just pissed.
I kind of agree. I think Buffalo was good, but I think the Colts, every time I was watching the game while I was working or whatever on Saturday, and every time I looked, the Colts were driving, right? And they were in like Buffalo territory. But then I look up, it's like Buffalo got the ball. Like, what the fuck happened? It was like turnovers on downs. Don't forget, Jeff. So when I say mistakes, I don't just necessarily mean the players, but even coaching. They had missed field goals, 2 turnover on downs. That's a lot of points. And one of them was like at the 5-yard or whatever it was, stuff like that. I'm like, yo, these coaches, I get it, but take the points. Take the goddamn points, whatever, because they lost by what? 3 in the end? 5? What did they lose by? Or whatever.
Yeah.
So they should have took the points. I don't know. It's just
you're right, Mike. They did lose by 3. They make the field goal at the time.
But listen, they lost by 3 because of the late in hurrah. The Bills had already taken their foot off the gas because they were up 24-10. Let's not make it seem like they were in it and they only ended by 3.
They were in it. They got on the gas. Jordan Wright. They got when they got on the gas because of their first half mistakes or whatever. I agree with Jordan because listen, the Colts had more yards, better time of possession. The Colts really ran that game. To be honest with you.
I'm like,
they don't score, then who cares?
I'm like, what are they doing? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, but right, when you say mistakes in terms of the players, the coaching, right, what are you doing? Jonathan Taylor's 5th in the league in yards. I mean, pound it. Pound it. You're throwing on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down on some of the drives. I'm like, the fuck are you doing? Like,
yeah, I don't know, man. I think the Bills, like I said, they got. You can't fault the team who takes advantages of the other team's miscues.
I agree with that, but I'm just saying
it wasn't like from them either.
It wasn't like the Bills were dominating them or whatever like that. It was just
right.
like
it wasn't like
it was like capitalizing on the Colts miscues. Like when the Colts dropped,
bro, it took them to the second half.
Come down and score a touchdown. Like, okay, here's a touchdown. Add that up.
It took them to the second half to do that. That's what I'm saying. Like it took them to the second. Bro, they didn't start scoring points to the 3rd quarter, bro.
Who, the Bills?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when the Colts started to make the mistakes, the Bills started capitalizing on their miscues.
I'm just sitting there and I'm like, damn.
That's why I don't take away from the Bills because plenty of teams in the NFL do not capitalize on miscues.
That's true too. I agree.
And they don't. And they give the ball back to the opposing team without capitalizing, and then the other team finds a way to rebound. The Buffalo Bills actually capitalize on the miscues of the Colts.
I will say Allen did play a good game, and Diggs is becoming a he definitely top 5 right now. Yeah. He's becoming a household name for real and whatnot. And he was already good. Like he was already good.
He was already like at least top 10. In my opinion.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
But now he's in another echelon. It's like they were almost taking away some of his talent having him there in Minnesota. Like
they had they had over there.
The other receiver. Right.
Yeah.
But moving on forward, man, and the game I don't want to talk about, but I have to, is the Steelers and the Browns.
They don't even have our other resident Steelers fan on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. And he did it on purpose. He told us talk about it. Yeah, he like I don't know what's going on. You know what's going on. But anyway, So now this is a real question though. Good Browns and bad Steelers. As you watched that game, well, what were your thoughts? Because I remember y'all shocked about the score and what happened and whatnot.
I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers slide continued after the 11-0 start. Remember, they lost 4 in a row after that. They won
3 in a row.
I would call it a meaningless game, but then they won a game that they needed to get to 12-4 because they were 11-0. Then they went 11-4, and then they went 12-4. I think the slide just continued. And the Browns, they were opportunistic. They took full advantage of every stale play that the Steelers did. The first play was a touchdown, a turnover touchdown. that set the precedent for the rest of the game. Like
I should have cashed out right there.
Should have cashed out
Facts.
immediately. Like
Me too.
I probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't have because the score ended up being pretty close, and I probably could have waited and probably got like maybe $50.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know, for them to drop them with 28 on the first quarter, listen, we're not expecting the Browns to do that every game, you know. But let's not take away that the Browns have that tandem in the backfield. Kevin Stefanski has modified Baker Mayfield to look more efficient. He runs plays that are beneficial to Baker's skills. They're not asking Baker to go out there and be a gunslinger. They stay within themselves. They just capitalize on the Steelers. Again, another instance of a team capitalizing on another team's miscues. You know, if the Steelers don't have those mistakes, this game might be totally different. This conversation might be totally different. But it's just the Browns were just opportunistic. I mean, I wouldn't call them good. I wouldn't call the Steelers bad. They just capitalized when they had the opportunity.
Well, Stefanski wasn't even there, but I feel what you're saying now. But
his philosophy is still on the team. You know,
yeah, I got you.
Yeah, Trent was all over that.
Yeah. Well, what you think, Jordan? As you were losing the money, tweeting about my Steelers. I'm not tweeting. Posted about my Steelers. Trolling. Good Browns and bad Steelers.
I mean, listen. This is good Browns or bad Steelers.
That game, yeah.
I mean, this is terrible Steelers. This is by far the terrible Steelers. I mean, I don't even care what the offense did because if you take away the turnovers and the first play of the game, they're probably in the game. Now, do they win or lose? I don't know. Let's talk about the defense. They got bullied.
Yeah.
They got bullied.
They got punched in their face.
They got punched in the mouth.
Right out the gate.
Right out the gate. Like from the rip, like punched in the mouth. You feel what I'm saying? So, like that, I damn sure didn't expect from. We were talking about them being the best defense in the league all season. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm just like, I couldn't believe they just got punched in the mouth. It was just bad.
I mean, look, you got to remember though, the Browns strategically planned their offense to attack the Steelers' weakness of the loss of linebacker play. No linebackers there. The Browns ran the ball down there at the road after that. Like, okay, they plan to run the ball like that with the two backs that got 1,000 yards in the same season, which is the fourth time in NFL history that this ever happened. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like the Browns really they took advantage.
And they was probably hyped up for that. This is a division game.
Oh yeah,
playoffs. They've never went playoffs. They've never won. I mean, they haven't playoffs 20 years. I mean, this was a setup for Pittsburgh, like almost.
How big was it for Baker to get his first playoff win?
I mean, did he really get the win? I mean, he didn't do too much.
I think it was huge.
He made some plays though when he
missed some plays. Yeah. Listen, Baker not great. Like we just expect Baker to be good, just to be good enough. Because you have running game, you have receivers. The defense isn't crazy, but I mean they have Myles Garrett, they got some guys on the D line, you know, here and there. But I think that was good for Baker. Get that confidence. Yeah. You know, they've been instilling the confidence in him all season, just giving him the ability to make plays.
I respect him. I respect him because he came in there. I respect him because he came in there and he didn't blow it. You feel what I'm saying? Right. He came in there, he did what he had to do. You know what I'm saying? He didn't come in there and blow it.
To be like a smaller dude, Baker got a gun. Like I didn't realize that. Like his arm is strong as hell.
There's some small dudes that got guns though.
Yeah, Russ,
Kyler Murray. They got some arms.
Yeah. I mean, they short in stature, but they probably make up for it in arm strength.
Yeah, for sure.
He can run a little bit. He's tough. See, that's what I like. Like he's one of the guys. He's tough. You know what I'm saying?
He's competitive for sure. Yeah.
And he come from like, you know, this is what, like he don't come from no silver spoon. Like he had to work his way up to Oklahoma, be a Heisman winner, be the #1 overall pick. So he know hard work and grit. You know what I'm saying? So I respect that.
You know what? You might have just gave me a different perspective on Baker saying all that, bro.
I mean, I respect him for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's, you know what I'm saying, top 10, but I respect him. You
know? No, he's not even top 10.
Well, I'll tell you what, him, Lamar, and the boy in Buffalo, Josh Allen, they're on the same draft class, and they all winning this playoff weekend. So that's great fun. And Lamar was the last one picked in that draft class, last QB or whatever like that. So it's crazy how like we talked about the changing of the guard, like not the young boys are changing things right now. But so back to Pittsburgh, what changes do they need to make right now? Should Ben retire? Should Tomlin still stay? What you think, man?
I think they need to find a pass catching running back. You know what I'm saying? Because instead of throwing all them dumbass 1-yard plays, just throw it out there to a running back who got some juice. You know, somebody with some moves, some shady-esque. You know what I'm saying? Some Shady McCoy-esque, some that put a foot in the grass, get you a move, get you 7 yards. Connor isn't the solution as far as that type of guy. He could probably be a guy that you can give the ball up for running, but he's not a pass catching back. I think everything else is set up. Once the injuries heal from this year with
Bud Dupree,
you know, and come back next year, they're gonna be in the same conversation. Ben doesn't have to do a lot. They have to solidify that running game.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, they don't need to do too much. They need to find a running game. They need to find a running back who they can.
They're gonna be pissed next year.
And 30 times and just say, here, because Ben can throw the ball. I mean, like Ben wasn't horrible this year. You feel what I'm saying? But he just made a lot of mistakes. But when you put it all on him, that's when he made the mistakes. Like he ain't the old Big Ben that where you could just put it all on Big Ben and he'll make it happen. You feel what I'm saying? That's not him no more. So they need a guy like Jeff said. When they had Le'Veon, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they in the playoffs. Le'Veon's in the playoffs. AB's in the playoffs. Like that's not looking too great. Like they let them two guys go, and
I mean, AB had to go, but Le'Veon, we probably should have paid Le'Veon or something like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you got.
I mean, it's not. Hold on, and let's not act like Le'Veon is ushering the Kansas City Chiefs into the playoffs.
No, but I think if he would have stayed, but I think that year off hurt Le'Veon. He would have stayed with us. He would have been still solid or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
that's why I said like a pass catching back. You know, somebody that can. You know, Ben could just drop it off, let that guy go get a few yards. But again, you know, this is what I said. Let's remember, Ben is coming off the elbow surgery. His first year back. You know, he went through the motions. They were 11-0. They barely won some of those games. They just played who were on their schedule. They had one of the top 5 easiest schedules in the league this year.
Well, you know, this is MVP, Jeff.
Huh?
This was Mike's MVP.
When?
Yeah,
I've never said that. Never said that. He lied. He lied.
Had the last 5 games played out differently, it's possible.
I never said that though. That's the crazy part about it.
This was how many votes you gave him?
None. But listen, at one point when they were like,
for you, he was.
They were though, but they were. He was 9-0. They were top. Anyway, I think the receiving core got to mature. They dropped too many balls. They got to really take some time to work on their hands. I feel like Juju got to go. Him and his TikToks. I can't stand Juju.
That's probably why they got punched in the mouth. And he ran his mouth too much.
Yeah, I think. You know, when they asked him about Denzel Ward, he was like, he got a lot of followers. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's how I knew. Like, he got his whole
mind wasn't ready.
Yeah, and a lot of these players are just worried about their Instagram and TikTok following than what's going on in the game. I don't think Juju even cared they lost or whatever. I mean, because he
was dancing during the game. They was getting their ass booked, and he was doing some shit before the play started.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I just feel like these players sometimes are worried about their brand a lot more, and you got to find the ones who are like really, really, I want to win. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm about. And I don't think Juju is. And the other ones, they got too many drops for me. Like, they dropped a lot of balls, bro.
Like you said, you want Juju. You don't want Juju back, right? I mean, in my opinion, Claypool.
You got to keep him.
Oh, Juju?
You got to keep Juju. And Juju isn't your number 1 next year. Claypool is.
Yeah, Claypool is definitely number 1.
Juju's going to be great in that number 2 position. Like, that's where he naturally fits.
He's got to mature, though, bro. That's all I'm saying.
And he probably will. Tomlin will probably sit him down in the offseason and say, look, you got to cut all that out.
I will say this. They need to find some more creative ways to get him the ball as well. He's a pretty decent runner after the catch. They need to find some different ways.
But his route running is kind of mediocre.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
I mean, he had 92 catches. He just don't run. He don't run. He'll get the ball up the field.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't push the ball up the field. He gets 92 catches on those little crossing plays or him coming across the middle of the linebackers, catching it, running it.
I'll give him that. Like he's a physical wide receiver.
He ain't scared. He goes to the middle.
He's scared. He's physical.
Yeah, he will, but he can't get separation.
Right.
The offensive scheme has to get him separation.
He
doesn't have the ability to do it on his own.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They need to find other ways to get him the rock.
But I think Washington is going to be good. I think that receiving core is solidified for at least the next 5 years. I think Claypool is going to be a bona fide star. If he comes out and has the type of year he has consistently next year, Juju can be the 2. And then you can have Washington, and you can have those other guys, those little small scat back kind of guys. Claypool is a major integrated part into that.
Claypool should be their. He is their best. Claypool is their best receiver.
Yeah.
He's
definitely.
He's their most
gifted. And he catch jump balls. Claypool is nice.
He's their most gifted receiver.
He got the speed. He got the size.
Yeah. He catch all those back shoulder passes, all that shit. I like
Claypool. Man next year, bro.
Yeah. He got a big year. I might draft Claypool in my fantasy league.
No, don't do that. Get out of here. I had him this year. I'm getting him next year.
That's why you make the playoffs again. See something what I'm trying to do.
Oh, bang, bang. Ooh, give me the best. Shots.
Pew, 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 pew.
Oh, not that. Okay.
All right, moving on forward, man. That was last weekend. So did anything you guys see this weekend make you want to change your Super Bowl pick? Or are you still sticking with what you already picked?
The only reason I'm gonna stick with my pick of the Packers and the Chiefs is because whatever Aaron Donald's got going on with those ribs.
They say he's playing. I just saw on my phone. McVay said he's playing.
He's gonna play, but is he 100%? Is he gonna be Aaron Donald? Like, I don't care if you play, but can you produce?
Shit, 80% still might be a fucking game.
80% Aaron Donald. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers and Devon, they on a tear, man.
They got Ramsey.
And that's cool.
Ramsey versus Devontae. That's gonna be a fucking hell of a matchup.
Is Ramsey gonna travel?
Nah, but Ramsey gonna get a penny.
Is Ramsey gonna travel? Like, they can put Adams anywhere in the slot on the end, and he gonna kill everybody else.
They got some decent corners, bro. I mean, they ain't Ramsey, but
they ain't Ramsey.
They gotta get physical with him. If you don't get physical with him, you just let him come off the ball.
Devontae Adams ain't no bitch. Excuse my language. Devontae Adams he ain't soft.
But he don't. Yeah, but a lot of receivers, bro. Like a lot of this shit, I see. Like his route running is like not normal. Like he kind of, he shimmies off the line and then boom, he's quick. He gets you. Guys like that, you gotta get up in their shit. Like you gotta knock him off the spot, or you know what I'm saying? Like I don't see nobody do that shit. Like don't nobody get physical with him. Richard Sherman in his prime would have got all up in his shit. Come here.
He do stay open though. He be open all the time.
Devontae?
Yeah.
But you gotta.
I was shocked that he wasn't all pro unanimous either, but it's okay.
You gotta bang his shit. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You ain't getting off the route.
I mean, you can't do that because you don't know when Aaron Rodgers is going to be throwing the ball to him. That's why a lot of teams don't get caught up in trying to prepare to like, okay, I'm going to be physical with this guy, because you be physical and you look up the ball in the air, he be done ran past you because Aaron done put it out there. So either way, back to the question.
Right.
I don't think
keep your picks.
Yeah.
What about you, Jordan?
Yo, I want to change my shit.
All right. Wait. What you had before?
I had Packers and Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't get to see Green Bay. So you know what I'm saying? So it's
the question is from this weekend. What are you thinking now?
From this weekend, nah, I'm gonna keep it. From what I saw this weekend, I will keep it. I will keep it.
Okay. All right.
Now ask me that shit next week.
I mean, obviously, if the Packers lose, you change your pick.
Ask me that shit next week. Because I ain't gonna lie to you. I like that upset.
All right, we'll get to that. Hold on. All right, that's the next question. For me, I'm keeping my picks. They've been my picks all year. Packers, Chiefs. I still got Ravens, Chiefs in the AFC Championship game and whatnot. So
I still got the Bills, Chiefs.
Yeah. All right. So let's pick this weekend. It's not no upsets because it's second round of playoffs, so we're just gonna pick the games or whatever like that. So Jeff, Rams, Packers. What do you got?
Pack.
Jordan. This guy.
Bro, if the Rams can't throw the ball,
I'm gonna pick the Packers, yo.
You have to. The Rams don't have enough offense.
Yo, I'm gonna pick the Packers.
Aaron Donald. I mean, not Aaron Jones. Forget about that. Forget about him.
Both of them. And Williams.
Yeah.
I think it's too much.
All right, so you go with the Packers. I'm still, of course, go with the Packers or whatever. I ain't changing on that. Who else? We got Ravens, Bills. Jeff.
Still got the Bills.
Okay, circling the wagons, huh? All right.
Bills, Chiefs,
Bills are favored. Bills are favored.
By what?
I don't know by how much.
Two. No, they're not. The Bills are giving up 2 points.
So they are the favorite.
Yeah.
The Bills giving up 2.
That's what he said. The Bills favored by 2.
No, what I mean is they said Buffalo -2. So yeah,
I
they're
mean,
giving up.
right.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah. Jordan, what you got?
Nah, I'm going with Baltimore. I'm going with the upset. I'm going with Baltimore. And they were favored last week against Tennessee, but I thought they weren't gonna be. I thought that would have been the other way around. But I'm going with Baltimore. I don't think they playing. They're not
It's
playing.
a scary game though. I'm not acting like I'm confident. Like,
They're
oh yeah,
not.
the Bills are gonna.
Like this might be.
Yep.
I mean, the Bills did play the Steelers, but this
All
probably
right.
the best.
Well, let's talk X's and O's then. Why you got Baltimore over the Ravens? I mean, over the Bills.
This is the best defense that they about to play, and and when like me personally, I feel as though right. I said this about the Colts defense last week. I felt like the Colts speed on defense would be able to contain the speed that Buffalo has, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like, damn, what the fuck am I trying to say? Like the Ravens overall speed also, they have like they're similar, but they have better players. You feel what I'm saying? They have better corners. You feel me? They got two corners that you can say, all right, here, go get him, and then they have players that can contain Josh Allen or run him down on the defensive line. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they got Calais Campbell. Like Calais Campbell's 6'8". You know,
I mean, he's like 36 years old.
he still made the Pro Bowl, bro. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, I mean, I know I said Pro Bowl doesn't even matter, but he still
like 10 minutes ago.
I know
10 minutes ago, Mike. Like,
I know, but I just think that they're gonna be able, like the Ravens will be able to, like won't make some of the same mistakes that the Colts made. Like they're gonna run the ball down their throat. They're gonna keep the ball away from Josh Allen, and it won't allow Josh Allen to get into a rhythm. Because once Josh Allen gets into a rhythm, then he starts doing all this funky, backyard shit, and that's how they score plays and win games. You feel what I'm saying? So I just think,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think that basically, because when you look at the way they're constructed, like the Colts and the Ravens, they're a little bit similar. Ravens run the ball a little bit better. So I think they'll be able to capitalize on that and keep Josh Allen off the field, keep it a close game. You know what I'm saying?
What about you, Jen? Why do you think the Bills gonna win?
I just think that, and honestly, it's gotten closer. I had a thought earlier that said, maybe Lamar is on a revenge tour. The Titans was first. Josh Allen was the first draft pick in his draft. Old Patrick Mahomes won. Like, he could be on a revenge tour, but I just think the Bills, Josh Allen's maturation is impressive to me. Sean McDermott doesn't let them call crazy plays that don't work. The defense is still really solid. The front line is good. You got Ed Oliver from Utah. Then you got Josh Norman. I know he's not the old Josh Norman, but he's still smart enough and savvy enough to be, a good cornerback. And I think the offense, you got John Brown, you got Diggs, you got Beasley. I know the running backs aren't great, but as long as they game plan to try and incorporate the run and not have Josh Allen try to go 28 for 35 like he did last game, I think they can still beat in the Baltimore Ravens.
They have to, because they're not running that. They're not running shit.
I mean, but as long as you attempt to run, as long as you stay honest.
And that's why I'm picking the Ravens. I think the Ravens are hot right now. They won 5 straight before the playoffs started, and they just hot. They already can stop Derrick Henry. Zach Moss and Singletary ain't it, or whatever. They ain't gonna cut it. So I'm with Jordan. And if you force them to pass, eventually you might get one or whatever. You know what I mean? So I feel like that it's gonna start out close, but I think the Ravens will pull away late. And I think Lamar, he's gonna get one. I think he's gonna run another touchdown that we don't see coming and stuff like that. So
I think Allen will do that too. I mean, last week he was 7 for 54 yards and a touchdown running, on top of his 28 for 35 passing for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He ain't doing that against Baltimore. He not.
I hear you.
He not.
That Colts defense was like number 1 in the league, wasn't they? They was top 5, wasn't they?
They were top 5.
Chicken.
Was the Colts?
Yeah. Colts were good defense.
I mean, they were top 5. They were top 10. They were good. I mean, they were
top 5.
They weren't scrubs.
Might have been top 3.
I would say they weren't. No, not the Colts. Not towards the end of the season, but they weren't scrubs by any means. Like, I thought they were serious. Like, I thought they would come in there and play good D against Buffalo. You feel what I'm saying?
I'm with you, Mike. Lamar might go off. Like, the running, it saves him. So, like, I know when I say save, it sounds like
it sounds crazy.
Huh?
Because that's what he does. You can't save him. That's what he do.
I know, but it makes him the player he is.
Correct. That's what it is. Yes.
If he couldn't run, he would be no one. Like,
I don't think he's that bad.
If he don't run, then when he don't run, they lose.
If he couldn't run, his passing is terrible, Mike. We've discussed this on plenty of shows.
I'm just saying.
If he couldn't run, he would be nobody.
I mean, he ain't Taysom Hill bad passing the ball. I mean, he a little bit better than like
but he wouldn't. He'd
be gut, Mike.
He wouldn't be no MVP. He wouldn't be
right. No, I agree with that. I'm just saying. He's still working progress. I mean, like I don't know. Yeah, but I see what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying. Yeah. But he do run. Part of the game plan.
And it is, and you guys are right.
They won't win. So if they can't run the ball with him, design runs, not just him dropping back and just running. Doing whatever he wants. I'm talking. That's
the most deadly part. The drop backs and he take off.
No, but this the thing. The design runs that they do set up his easy throws.
I feel like the undesigned plays are the ones where he gets off the most.
Well, yeah, that's true. Because the touchdown undesigned run. Yeah.
The quarterbacks are chasing wide receivers down the field, and you look up and he running past everybody.
Nah, for sure. But I'm saying like, I think Buffalo's gonna be a little bit smarter than that, but. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're gonna be running man. You feel what I'm saying? Because he, you know what I'm saying? That run last week was nice.
That was man. They was running man when they did that.
Yeah, when he took off on that TD.
And Sean McDermott came from the Carolina Panthers, and they played a lot of zone too.
That's what I'm saying, right? So I don't think they're gonna be running. So against the zone, they're gonna have to run that. They're gonna have to do a lot of design runs because. That'll start to open up the play action down the field where he can just make.
The thing I like about Lamar is that he's not hesitant. If he see an opening, he's gone. Yeah, he ain't like
let me the locker room too.
Like you know how some quarterbacks they see it open, they're like, no, let me see. Nah, if it's open, he's gone or whatever. That's it. Or whatever. He's jumping out the window.
That is scary. That is the scary part.
Terrifying, bro.
Yeah, for real.
The only thing is, you have Buffalo played decent D last week.
But I will say Buffalo is crazy because it's super opposite. Phillip Rivers is a statue. He ain't going no goddamn way. And now they playing Lamar. So it's a true opposite test for them. So we're gonna see how they do it or whatever, this time. So moving on forward, man. All right, I got Ravens too, like I said. Chiefs and Browns. Jeff, who you got, man?
Come on, man. I got the Chiefs. Stop playing.
All right.
Man.
I got to ask or whatever. Okay.
I feel you.
Yeah. Chiefs been off 2 weeks, so I don't even think you might think Browns might catch a slip.
And you know what? That that hurt the Ravens last year, being off all that time. You know what I'm saying? And maybe the Colts, if they can jump out and just run the ball and keep Mahomes on the sideline watching for a little bit, it could be.
How about this? Will it be a closer game than we think it might be?
Nah, I think the second half, Pat just going out and just cook them.
All right. Drew, what you think, bro?
Nah, Chiefs.
Chiefs by a lot?
All the way?
No, I'm saying Chiefs by a lot of points or Chiefs by a little?
Chiefs plus 10.
All right. It's unanimous. I'm going with the Chiefs too, and then a possible blowout at the end of the second half. I think the Browns shot their load, for lack of better explanation. I think
the FCC on here, man. He said they shot their load.
I think they shot their load last week. I think that was their Super Bowl. It was a division rival. It was the first playoff win. They celebrated like they won a Super Bowl, for God's sakes, or whatever. I thought they shot their load, and now they got nothing left. And now they're going to be the Chiefs, and it's going to be curtains for them. I think the Chiefs jump out early, and that's like a bye week. And we already know how Andy is off a bye week. And if you give Andy time to plan and prepare, oh man! And not only that,
then they got healthier.
They got healthier. He watched the Browns last week or whatever like that. So defensively, the Browns gonna have some trouble. I'm telling you. So we're gonna see. And Tariq got healthier too. He was real banged up before. So we're gonna see. In the last game, we talked about this a few times in the show, but Buccaneers Saints. Who you got, Jeff? You're teasing it all show. Who are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bucs now, man. I've been persuaded.
Jordan?
Yeah, I'm with the Bucs. I like the upset. Saints are actually favored, but they ain't beaten them 3 times in a row.
Well, how much? 3?
This ain't the regular season, and
no team in NFL history ever has.
And this is postseason, and You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pick Tom Brady in the postseason over Drew Brees. I'm gonna pick Tom Brady over Drew Brees any day, regardless. But you know, I'm picking Brady. You know what I'm saying? And they get Devin White back. The Buccaneers get Devin White back, which is a huge boost. He led their team in tackles and sacks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
JPP, they got Sue. I mean, I know these guys.
Yeah. And then, like I said, and you talk about Tom Brady, talk about motivation. He's not about to let them lose 3 games in a row to this team. There's no way in hell. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. He's gonna have his team ready. That team gonna be focused. Drew Brees gonna be a deer in headlights because he's gonna be getting put on the ground.
What about the Saints defense though?
I ain't even.
They worry about them.
Been hailing that Saints
I ain't even worried
all year, bro.
I ain't even worried about them like that because I ain't gonna lie. Because bro, like you said, no team's ever beat a team 3 years in a row. That's the first thing, right? We got Mr. Miyagi versus fucking Mr. Miyagi, right? These two old ancient motherfuckers, right? Do you really think Tom Brady would let a team beat them three times in a row? Like, do you think this is gonna happen? Like,
I mean, if Cam Hayward got something to say about it, I don't know. Not Cam Hayward. Defense Cam Jordan or whatever. Yeah,
he can be getting that thing out of there. He ain't worried about that. You know, he gonna be. Bro, the Saints didn't look good, bro. Like the Saints did not look like.
But they're still finding their continuity.
Huh?
They're still looking for the continuity with Breeze being out all that time and coming back. They're still trying to find that.
That's why.
I mean, but they won't find it this week. Don't get me twisted.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they might lose. Because and
the game in New Orleans, right? So you got to think about that too.
But look, Brady don't mind being indoors.
I said Brady don't give a fuck where it is.
And there's no fans. That don't spell anything good.
He gonna be dialed in, bro. Like
he dialed in now.
He gonna be dialed in. Like he might pick them apart, bro. Like
I think we're seeing the end of Breeze and I think we're seeing the end of Breeze and Peyton. I think this is it.
Oh, it's over for Breeze. It's over.
Yeah. Look, I mean, the Saints are $93 million over the cap. How the hell are they going to get out of that? My nephew said they're going to cut Mike Thomas. I said, boy, you crazy? I said, everybody's available to get cut but Mike Thomas and Alvin Kamara.
Well, anyway, I'm going to make my pick when we get to that. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers, too. I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers, too, or whatever. I see more of a for some reason, like I feel like I see a Bucks Packers NFC Championship game. That's going to be highly rated, highly watched. I don't think the Saints would really like. I don't think they're going to be there for some reason or whatever like that. And I think the Bucks got too many weapons.
You know the Saints always full. That's what they do. I say for them to
they got robbed one year. Don't get it twisted.
I'm gonna say but for them to only put up 21 points against Chicago, like Chicago's defense has been okay this year. Like this isn't the old Chicago defense like from 2 years ago or whatever. You feel what I'm saying? So for them to only put up 31 points and then they I mean Chicago left the touchdown on the board. Like if that's Tampa Bay probably blows them out the game. Like in all seriousness, like Chicago had a lot of chances to score. They just didn't score. You feel me?
Right. Yeah. Well, those are our picks. Moving on forward. So that's the show, really. And nothing else really talk about. No more power rankings because you know we're on to the playoffs now. Anything else I got to say? You know, last 2 minutes. Anything else? Stuff?
No. I mean, I'm just interested to see how this all play out. You know, no team has ever hosted the Super Bowl and played in it. Just for good measure.
I said that early. I said that. And I'm sticking to that too. Whatever. Yeah, but you know what, Jeff? Every record eventually get broke at some point or another and whatnot, except for fucking, you know.
But are we really expecting a?
Very right.
So this is what we're expecting. So this is why that goes out the window. For one, in order for the Bucks to win. Yeah, it just doesn't work. Either way, it's not going to work. Saints nor the Bucks are going to make it. No team has ever beat a team 3 times in one season. That means the Saints won't. And the Bucks won't make the Super Bowl because no team has ever hosted the Super Bowl.
Right.
And made it. So it's only inevitable for the NFL to market this geniusly as this is last year was the 100th season, right?
Yeah.
This year will be a repeat of Super Bowl 1.
Let me ask you this. That'll be cool. That'll be cool as shit. But bro, Like it's something, bro. Like I'm not gonna not bet on Brady, bro. Like it's something about it's like
no team has ever hosted the Super Bowl.
I said that earlier in the year.
Ever.
It don't happen.
Super Bowl 50
bro,
something.
Anybody would do it. It would be Tom Brady, bro. Okay. I'm gonna stick with my
I will say this, Jeff. Though. I'm gonna say this.
My original pick. Hold on, man. Let me just say I'm gonna stick with my original pick. But do not be surprised if Tampa Bay gets there and they beat them.
Well, let's see after this weekend you stick with your pick, like you said. Let's see about that.
We'll see if you stick with it. Yeah. I'll say about stick with it.
But I will say this, Jeff. If the Bucks do go and they host the Super Bowl, listen, that whole town getting COVID because they're gonna be out there partying in Tampa.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna have their home team host the Super Bowl. That's crazy, bro. Like,
they might make them win if that's the case. You know what? Y'all gonna win now. Y'all made it here.
And they played earlier in the season, Chiefs and Tampa, close game.
If Brady goes to the Super Bowl and wins it, he's got to retire.
He won't. That's the funny thing, probably.
He would have 7 championships. He would be the all-time greatest football player in the history of the world.
He already did, though.
He's the greatest quarterback of all time.
Right.
For some reason, I just don't have him as the greatest player of all time.
I mean, I'll give him. I mean, it's argument. I mean, I can give him both, but
I mean, in my mind, the greatest player of all time is probably Jerry Rice. Like, the most, the greatest player of all time, or Barry Sanders, and
that's why that whole thing Randy Moss and them said was crazy to me that he was better than Jerry Rice. I'm like, what? You drunk, bro? And Jordan, he was on it. Jordan, I'm like, what the fuck? It's crazy. So.
I mean, because I'm just like, for what he did. I mean, for what Randy did. You know what I'm saying? For the short amount of time that he played and just the physical. I mean,
he gave you oohs and ahs. Like he made the game watchable and exciting.
When Randy Moss was in his prime, when was he not the best receiver in the league? Like, let's be real.
When he was in his prime, when was he not the best receiver in the league?
And even when he was with,
he split some of those years with T.O. The crazy part.
Nah,
he had to split. T.O. was like one of the top receivers in the game.
And the year he was with the Raiders, for sure, Randy was the best receiver in the league. Whatever. So
no, damn,
surely wasn't.
Damn. I know that, but I'm just saying, like, Randy's. I mean, bro, at
the end of the Minnesota years, he had like a mediocre year. It was like kind of
and the end of the Pats years, he was like, I don't know.
Nah, bro.
Randy was great.
If you don't want to give Randy number 1, he's definitely number 2. Like, definitely number 2 best wide receiver of all time.
That's like, tough. Again, I'll give him the most exciting, most impact. That's number 2 receiver.
Like he's 2, T.O. is 3, and I don't even care who 4 or 5 are.
You know what it is about Randy for me? He ain't never have a lot of catches, like a lot. Like he was taking the top off a lot. They ain't have like 11, 12 catch games and nothing like that, like a lot of times or whatever.
So that matters
for me.
To you?
Yeah. I mean, he need more receptions. Yeah, I think he have a lot of receptions to me, or whatever. So.
Because I kind of feel like that's the same thing I was saying about the whole Tom Brady 22 for 40.
How?
Like,
that's not the same thing.
He had a lot of completions, but he had big receptions.
Bro, apples and oranges, bro. That's what
I understand. I feel like it's kind of the same thing, but I'll give you this one.
I'm saying we're talking about the greatest of all time.
He was like he was like the first like 6-foot burner. Like 6'5" burner. Like, yeah, like running a 4.2, 4.3. Like, yeah.
Nah.
Like he said it himself. Like, but that's the truth. What other 6'5" receiver was running 4.2s?
I think he was like 6'4", but I think that like 6'4". Randy was great. Don't get me wrong, but listen, Rice records are ridiculous, bro. Like, how did I even imagine that? I even talked about that. Like, Rice had 22 touchdowns on like a 13 games he played. Like, it's great.
How many Hall of Fame quarterbacks did Jerry Rice play for? Jesus Christ.
Bro,
I mean, listen, half of the play is a pass, the other half is a catch. Don't take away his part.
That nigga was 40-something years old, still balling.
Get the ball first. They gotta
bro,
go to him.
He was 40-something years old, still balling with Rich Gannon and shit. Didn't matter who he played with.
Wait, that offense.
Stop. Come on. I mean, that offense was good. Come on.
Well, who was Rich Gannon before that?
And they had Tim Brown. Didn't they have Tim Brown?
The Chiefs and the Minnesota Vikings. He's a journeyman.
Thank you. Who was Rich Gannon before that? That's what I'm saying.
They were still good. They went to the Super Bowl.
Who was he before that?
Offense made them go to the Super Bowl.
Thank you. And then they had Tim Brown, and they had
Charlie Gardner, Tim Brown,
Gardner. Yeah, come on, Charlie Gardner, right?
Yeah,
I'm saying Jerry was 47 years old, balling or whatever, with the journeyman. Basically.
Come on, bro.
He wasn't a journeyman.
The years leading up to that year that we got Jerry Rice, Rich Gannon was actually progressing because we went from like the first round. Then
Rich Gannon was all right with the Raiders.
Then we got in the third, then we went to the chip.
Rich Gannon was all right with the Raiders. That was it.
It was the offense. It wasn't Rich Gannon. It was the West Coast offense. The same type of shit that Brett Favre used to run. Because John Gruden, they all came from that same tree with Mike Holmgren.
Yeah.
Same offense.
Andy Reid and all of them, whatever like that.
Yeah, so it was the same offense. The offense that made Rich Gannon great. But before that, Rich Gannon was motherfucking Fitzpatrick. Really?
Right.
Like, Fitzpatrick in the flesh.
That's what I'm saying, yo. And Jerry was still balling no matter who he had. Jeff Garcia. Jerry still balled with Jeff Garcia. It doesn't matter who he played with, bro. Or whatever.
Garcia was all right. Come on.
He was all right at best.
He was all right. Garcia was all right, bro.
If it wasn't with T.O., there's no Garcia. Like, if you really want to take it there.
Garcia was all right, but bro.
So Garcia went to the Browns. He was atrocious.
They
Who was better, Dante Culpepper or Jeff Garcia?
Oh, Dante Culpepper.
Who Randy had for several years. So that's my point, or whatever. That's what I'm saying. And the 1 year with Cunningham had like 5,000 yards, some crazy shit like that, or whatever. Like, he was balling, I'm not saying like Randy at number 2, but it's a gap between 1 and 2 right now. Whatever.
I mean,
it's not even really rankings. It's kind of like the king and the rest. Like, there's no one. It was like, yo, he is the standard, and you guys are trying to catch that.
And not only that, bro. Look at Rice accolades, bro. Him himself, he won Offensive Player of the Year as a wide receiver or whatever like that. Like, he was doing all types of shit, whatever, crazy, and a Super Bowl MVP. I'm just saying.
Randy Moss. How many touchdowns? Randy Moss did have like 25 touchdowns.
Yeah, 23. He broke the season record. But that was 1 year.
He had like 23.
Yo, bro.
He broke Rice.
Hold on. A couple times.
Hold on. No, he didn't.
I think he had 23, and then he had like 19 or 18.
Hold on. Randy had 23. He broke Rice's record of 22. Rice had 22 in 13 games though that year. That's the crazy part about it.
And I think Jerry Rice had more than 21, more than once.
Like, it's ridiculous, bro. Rice is crazy, but it's more his accolades to me. Randy was never.
Jerry Rice played for 20 years, bro.
But some of those years was like the first 10 was his like the most immaculate years ever. He had 13 Pro Bowls, man. This dude is crazy.
Right, it's crazy, bro.
Crazy, bro.
I get it. It's just
thank you.
I'm a Randy guy. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy.
Yo, this guy was 10 times All Pro. Hey, he won Offensive Player of the Year twice in 87 and 93.
Offensive Player of the Year. Randy never did that. That's what I'm saying. You talking about he's the best receiver in football. Randy never did that.
Because physically, like, he's definitely the best physically gifted wide receiver of all time. Like, let's just
I'll give you that.
I guess we'll put it that way. Or I guess we'll put it that way.
I mean, him and maybe Megatron or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff or whatever.
And Jerry Rice had 1,800 receiving yards in 1995. He always had $2 grand catching.
Yeah, Jerry Rice is
crazy, bro.
Those teams went to the Super Bowl. Those offenses were crazy. We had Hall of Famers all over the field.
Yo, bro, I can't say all over the field. No.
One, Hall of Fame.
Is John Taylor in the Hall of Fame?
It's decent. He had a Hall of Fame running back. He had a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Who was the Hall of Fame running back?
Who was the Hall of Fame running back?
Roger Craig.
That was when he first got in.
Like 87.
Yeah, I know. We know what the 90s, bro.
Yeah, Ricky Waters. Like,
right.
Come on. Like,
come on, bro. Stop it.
He was terrible, man.
Ricky Waters wasn't bad. Stop it.
Ricky Waters was terrible, bro.
What do you have? 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons, bro? That's that time,
I was looking at, bro.
That's crazy. That's ridiculous. At that time, when they were passing the ball,
from 86 to 96, he had 1,000 yards.
Yo, that's ridiculous. what I'm saying, yo. I get Randy put his own self up or whatever. I get it. But nigga, he ain't Jerry. I'm sorry, bro. Jerry, I think Jeff Wright, he the GOAT. And he got so many,
bro.
And he got so many 16 game play seasons. It's ridiculous, bro.
Yo, almost like, wow, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah. But Randy number 2. Anyway, that's a good topic.
Huh? Yeah, that.
He got it. But anyway, man, that was another show, man. Beyond the Trenches, man. And appreciate you guys like, comment, and subscribing. Keep watching these playoffs as we will do. And we'll see you guys next week. Next week, we should have the full panel back. Definitely Tobi will be back here, so we expect that. And of course, we'll have court trap sometime this month as well. So, for my panel here, Jeff, Jordan, see you guys next week.
Yeah. All right.